Today I take the opportunity to speak to you briefly about the budgetary plans for Tobago within the context of the 2019 budget. As you may recall, our proposal, as we presented in June, represented an aggregate of the plans of the various divisions and would have amounted to $5.2 billion. However, we were allocated $2.229 billion in the budget, broken down as follows: $1.979 for recurrent spend, $231 million for development, and $18 million for URP. As you're aware, a public-private partnership unit has been established in the Division of Finance and the Economy. And we have been building the capacity of that unit, as well as employing staff to fill key positions. It is anticipated that over the next year, this unit will be making positive efforts to procure some private sector partners to invest with us in some of our development projects. Borrowing. Additionally, we propose to access funds through borrowing. In the budget statement as presented by the Honorable Minister, we were allowed to borrow up to $300 million to finance our development program. The budget did address briefly a couple, what I would call key Tobago-centric items. One was the purchase of two fast ferries. As you know, this is an issue that has been prosecuted for some time, and I'm advised that the order has been placed, the necessary funding is in place, and that these ferries are to arrive here in mid-2020. The Sandals Hotel. Preliminary actions and activities continue. I can say to you that we have applied for EMA approval, that is the Certificate of Environmental Clearance. That application has been accepted, and of course, consistent with these things, there is some additional information that is required. Now, you are aware that as part of the granting of such a approval, consultation is necessary. So at the appropriate time, appropriate consultations will be held with all stakeholders. Construction of the new airport terminal building, that you know is a matter that is ongoing. I can say to you that I meet with the Honorable Minister on Tuesday to continue discussion in respect of key issues surrounding that terminal building. Ongoing works in respect of the Southwest Water Treatment Plant, my information is approximately 60% completed, and the intention is to move to see whether they could complete by the end of the calendar year. 6, Old Grange and Roxborough police stations. As you know, these are currently under construction. The one at Grange is far advanced, in fact more advanced than the one at Roxborough. But may I remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that these projects were actually shovel ready in 2010, and they were postponed or put on hold by the incoming regime, that's the UNC government, notwithstanding the fact that for the 5 years there was a Ministry of Tobago Development. So it was on the return of the PNM government in late 2015 that these projects were once again placed on the front burner, and construction is underway. Rebranding and procuring new management for Magdalena, Grand Beach and Golf Resort. Currently, E-Tech superintends the operations of this hotel, and given the successful model of utilizing brand management, and we can point to the Hilton Hotel in Trinidad as well as the Hyatt in Port of Spain. And it's the same model that is envisaged for Magdalena, as well as the same model will be used for the Sandals Hotel brand. Ability to borrow up to $300 million. I did make mention of that earlier, but that is one of the Tobago-centric items that would have been stated in the budget statement. Another one was that 1.055 billion TT dollars is to be spent in Tobago through ministries, statutory authorities, and state enterprises, pursuant to their responsibilities under Act 40 of 1996. Business opportunities for SPEL. As you know, the Studley Park Enterprises Limited is a special purpose company under the rubric of the Tobago House of Assembly, and one of their responsibilities has to do with exploiting our granite and so on, our aggregate, in ways that are commercial. And with the coming on stream once again of the Toco Highway, and of course the highway to Point 14, opportunities do present themselves. And I have mandated SPEL to ensure that they position themselves to exploit such opportunities. As a matter of fact, I expect within a not too distant future, a memorandum of understanding would be signed between SPEL and NIDCO. And after that, we shall seek funding to develop the jetty at Studley Park to facilitate ease of transportation of the materials coming out of that Studley Park quarry. Some time ago, I recall speaking to you about a Tier 3 data center at the Cove Estate. And this is a joint venture arrangement with TSTT. Work has started on this, and we shall continue to pursue this in this fiscal year. Now, I also take this opportunity to remind you that in coming into office, we would have indicated that as part of our effort to develop the economy of Tobago, we shall be concentrating on a couple of areas. One would have been agriculture, two would have been the tourism sector, and three would have been light manufacturing and some specialized services. Now, in respect of our development program under food production, for example, our thrust in respect of agricultural access roads continue. In fact, last week, we would have awarded 28 work packages to a value of approximately $20 million, all designed to continue to open access to lands for agriculture. Now, in addition, the Lure Estate, which is located in Goldsboro, one of the things that we propose to do is to create a wildlife nature park there. That will, among other things, boost our thrust in tourism, as well as to ensure conservation of our environment. The sum of $2 million have been allocated in this year's budget to provide for an upgrade of existing roads, nature trails, landscaping, and a feasibility study. To the extent that we need to top this up, we shall do that. And of course, we continue to work with stakeholders in the industry to ramp up production. And we're working closely with the Goldsboro Farmers Association, the Tobago Agriculture Society, as well as other key stakeholders who individually are seeking to ramp up their own production. I could say to you as well that in alignment with that, we would have been able to persuade the University of Trinidad and Tobago to offer a diploma program in agriculture. And that program is currently being done at the Hospitality Industry Institute. Tourism. Again, tourism was identified as one of the drivers of the Tobago economy, as well as one of the strategies for diversification. And in this regard, among others, the following are contemplated. 1. Restoration and upgrade of historical sites to international standards. The sum of $2.4 million would have been allocated, and this sum will be increased. A 3-year rolling plan. As you also are aware, the tourism agency, in conjunction with the stakeholders in the tourism sector, would have developed a 3-year strategic plan. Funding in the tune of $40 million has been allocated this year. In respect of the Tobago Tourism Agency and its operations, the sum of $20 million has been budgeted. And may I say that that represents $19 million over last year's allocation. So it does emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, where our priorities lie. And I can say to you, we propose to make an additional $10 million available to assist the Tobago Tourism Agency execute its mandate. I hinted at some point that the agency would have designed a new branding strategy for the industry, and a launch, perhaps a soft launch, is tentatively carded for the 24th. It will be confirmed in due course of October in Tobago. And we shall also be doing an international launch at the World Travel Market in November of this year. And of course, the tagline is Tobago Beyond Ordinary. A fantastic tagline, if you were to ask me. Now, at World Travel Market, we shall certainly be signing an agreement that will see the return of the Apollo flight from Scandinavia in the winter of 2019. Positive news for the tourism sector. We are currently in talks, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow, the CEO of the tourism agency has an appointment with operatives of the Sunwind Travel Group out of Canada, and we'll be exploring the possibility of some kind of strategic alliance. Now, Sunwind, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest integrated travel company in North America, and it comprises leisure tour operators, Sunwind Airlines, travel retail business operations, and travel management services. So we are exploring the possibility of engaging them in a strategic alliance. You may have read on the internet where Rex Turtle Beach has in fact been part of an alliance arrangement with this group. And to that extent, there shall be some refurbishing works and so on at Rex Turtle Beach. And clearly, it would also mean more business for that particular hotel. Because as I just indicated, Sunwind is an integrated travel company. We are also moving quickly because we want to be able to establish or construct what I would call a connector bridge linking the Port Authority to the Esplanade as an attempt to facilitate ease of movement when we have our cruise ship arrivals. In respect of small business, light manufacturing, or a shift to economic development, the sum of $9.5 million will be invested to continue business development and entrepreneurship drives in Tobago. This investment, ladies and gentlemen, is necessary to continue to support the creation of an enabling environment for businesses and entrepreneurship to flourish. As you know, one of the weaknesses of our economy is the fact that we do not have a robust private sector. And therefore, the THA over the years would have had to be the prime employer of persons on the island in excess of 60%. And if you talk to any economics who is worth his or her salt, they would tell you that that is not a good position to be in. And therefore, we will see a continuation of the Enterprise Assistance Grant Program. There's an allocation this year of $2.5 million. Last year, the allocation was $1 million. So that you see a 150% increase. Again, emphasizing the priority. Our loan program, the allocation this year is $2 million. Last year it was $1.5 million. And to the extent that it becomes necessary to top this up, we will do so. Our infrastructural works, again, will take some doing this year. A total of $40.8 million is budgeted. And this sum, I can tell you as of now, we will top up, augment, because this sum would not allow us to do all the things that we would like to do. And some of the programs for sure would be the rehabilitation of the Cloudnoil Highway. As a matter of fact, a revised RFP is supposed to be out as we speak to do that, and we are hoping to start that in the dry season next year, January. The Milford Road bypass to Smithsfield is on the cards. Our resurfacing program will continue. The Thompson Bridge reconstruction is also on the cards. The Scarborough Ring Road initiative is something that a feasibility study will be commissioned, and we are hoping early next year we will get the results of that. And that is designed to ensure that we can traffic manage the situation in and around Scarborough. And those are just some that I highlighted. Those are not the only ones that will be done. We have our secondary roads and so on that we'll continue to treat with. In respect of public buildings, ladies and gentlemen, construction of our ECC e-centers is on the cards, and beginning this quarter, we shall see the first constructed ECC e-center. We are working assiduously to ensure that this happens, given our budgetary cycle. But as I did indicate previously, Tobago, we have finally been able to be granted the opportunity to execute directly some IDB funds for this project. And within the next 2 weeks, we should be able to put in place the organizational infrastructure, hopefully to the satisfaction of the lenders, so that we can drive this project forward. Expansion of the Cutler Hall Administrative Complex will continue. The Roxborough Administrative Complex, we are hoping that that will be completed in November. The Bell Garden Community Center, the deadline given to me is October. We are seeking to establish an innovation center this fiscal year. Upgrade works to Manta Lodge. We are currently in conversation with a potential investor in respect of some kind of arrangement for Manta Lodge. I do have an appointment later this month with the investor who's coming from abroad, and we shall see how that goes. Repairs to the Scarborough Market continue. Within a couple of weeks, we should have an award in respect of the upgrade of PRDI building, the planning complex there, because there's some works to be done there. As you know, the building is not inhabitable at this time, but it's a building that we need, and we need to use it to ensure that our staff can be safely accommodated. This year as well, we shall ensure that their designs and other preliminary works that are associated with the construction of the school for the deaf and language impaired. So some effort has been made this year to pay some attention to that sector. Ladies and gentlemen, things are happening on the island of Tobago, and positive things at that. For those who are yet unaware, they shall soon be seeing and feeling the impact of these things. Over the past 20 months, we sought to, one, consolidate the gains that we had made over the past years. Two, maintain employment levels in the face of reduced allocations. This was no mean feat. Three, facilitate a reasonable level of aggregate disposable income in order to cushion the impact of reduced demand for goods and services consequent upon the adjustment process. And four, sow new seeds of enterprise and renewed focus on agriculture and tourism. Today, we are beginning to see the first fruits of our labor, and it is now time for increasing our thrust in the key areas identified for growth. And I tell you unequivocally and unambiguously that that will happen.